My nearly adult female parents divorced 10 years ago because my dad cheated on my mom. He married the other woman who had 2 kids, my stepsister Julia, nearly adult, and my stepbrother Josh, young teen. While my dad cheated, their mom didn't because their dad had already passed away before that. Before the divorce, I was a total daddy-esque girl. I adored him, and I was glued to his hip. My mom encouraged me to keep a relationship with him after they split. His new wife's family never paid much attention to me. They weren't mean nor good, but at first, I always had to share my dad with them whenever I visited. If we went hiking or fishing, they had to come. If we went to the movies, had dinner outside, or anything, they had to come. I remember I used to cry at night because I couldn't understand why they always had to be there. This stopped when Dad said that we should invite my step-siblings. I just broke down crying, asking him why he never wanted to spend time with me alone. We had a long talk, and I got to vent how awful I felt just sitting there, waiting for him to turn his head and notice me, because if I tried to talk or have his attention, they would get in the middle while ignoring me. And he apologized. After that, we would spend more time one-on-one in just a very few instances with all of them. I won't lie, I enjoyed it. I could talk with my dad, do fun stuff, and be around him without waiting for my step-sibling to stop talking to him or anything. Julia and I will be graduating this summer. I got an early acceptance to my college of choice, and when I told my parents, both decided to do something to celebrate. So my mom and I will be having a getaway weekend to the spa, and my dad said he would take me to the beach. I was really excited, so I offered to pay for the hotel reservation because I wanted to feel mature. Lol. My dad said no a bunch of times, but I convinced him. In the end, we were supposed to leave today, but my stepsister was there when he came to pick me up. He said it was a surprise since both of his girls were graduating. Apparently, she begged him to come with us, and he agreed, saying that she could get his bed, and he'll sleep on the floor between us. I could feel my eyes burning, and I told him that this wasn't the deal. He tried to convince me, but he ended up leaving with her. In my rage, I called the hotel to cancel the room, and I didn't tell my dad. When they arrived, he tried to check in, and when he couldn't he called me. I only said, yeah, I canceled it, and hung up. He sent me a long text apologizing, and my mom said that what I did wasn't okay and that I owe them an apology. Apparently, they on their way back because they couldn't find a hotel. The trip with my dad and the spa getaway with my mom was because I got an early acceptance, not because I was graduating high school. That's why Julia had no business being there. My dad did ask about inviting her, and I said no. Not the idiot. He needs to learn how to prioritize because you're his kid. Your mom might be saying to apologize because she wants you to have a relationship with your dad, but she's not helping at all. If you do apologize, what's to stop him from doing it again? I think he needs to make it up to you because your stepsister just ruined the vacation and your graduation celebration. Also, if she knew it was your celebration, she owes you an apology too for being a brat. You didn't do anything wrong, and you shouldn't apologize. You paid for you and your dad, not you and your stepsister. In order for you to forgive him, I think he needs to do something to make it up to you. Honestly, I'd go no contact or very low contact for a while. He knows how you feel, yet he doesn't respect your feelings and boundaries. I wouldn't call it a mistake. A mistake is forgetting to set your alarm and waking up late, not bringing stepsis when told no and still going to the hotel when your daughter, who paid for the trip, has refused to go. That's not a mistake, that's an idiot move. And dad needs to do better than just apologize. I doubt you'd have apologized if you hadn't canceled the room. Sounds like he'd have made it a father-stepdaughter trip. He breaks his kid's heart, then continues on the trip like no big deal with Julia after I paid for the room. How did he think that would play out with his own kid? Zero self-awareness. Yeah, my gosh, some people are so dense. Update: I informed my dad that since he keeps hurting me and putting his other family above what I explicitly asked him for, I would rather go no contact with him and that he was currently uninvited to my graduation. This was the last time, and while I still love him and it hurts my heart that it has come to this, I can't keep doing it anymore. I asked him not to contact me again, and I blocked him. As for my mom, I explained everything to her, and after much crying on both parts, she apologized and hugged me because she didn't know. So she's supporting my decision. My brother-in-law, my husband's brother, was married to a woman from Greece. Her name is Nana, and their divorce was because of how much my conservative brother-in-law tried to control her clothes and the places she went. He didn't want the divorce and was hoping Nana would accept the life he offered and stay, but she didn't. This happened 2 years ago. He now moved back in with my in-laws, and we see him more often. He tried to comment on how I dress on multiple occasions, and it's unbearable, but since my in-laws said he is struggling and depressed, I let it go. My in-laws celebrated my husband's 30th birthday at their home on Friday. I wore a heart-shaped blue dress and had my hair up. While we were eating, My brother-in-law pointed at me and said that my cleavage was showing and that I shouldn't have worn this dress because it looked inappropriate for a family gathering. I was utterly shocked. Everyone was staring at me, and I felt so embarrassed and on the spot. He looked at me, waiting for me to blow up, probably. But I laughed and told him, "Knock, knock." He said, "Who is there?" I said, "Nana." Now he paused and seemed confused at the mention of this name. He then faked a laugh and said, "Nana who?" I said, "Nana, your business what I am wearing, okay?" He got upset and quickly left the table. My sisters-in-law laughed, but my husband's parents were upset and later said that I was way out of line for bringing up Nana to my brother-in-law, knowing how heartbroken and depressed he is because of her. His mom said I was petty and didn't he need to dig at him to prove a point. My husband thinks I am in the wrong and that I was being deliberately hurtful by bringing up Nana. Not the idiot. He drove his wife away by trying to police her clothes, and he has the nerve to bring that subject up with you. You didn't need to dig in to show him that his ex-wife was not an aberration. Any woman would find it disgusting to have a man dictate what she can or cannot wear. Yeah, I would respond with, driving your wife away wasn't he bad enough? Now you want to try for your brother as well? And I can't believe he took the bait and said, "Nana who?" He is an idiot, and your family can keep coddling him. You should put the heat on your husband and ask him, why do you think I should accept your brother disrespecting me? Do you think it is acceptable for him to speak to me like that? Then really loudly add a sprinkle of, "Hey, can you ask your brother to stop looking at and pointing at my breasts?" If your husband is willing to sit by and let his brother act like a pig because it doesn't affect him, he isn't a good partner. My 32-year-old female got married to my husband 4 years ago. Before I met him, I didn't think much of having children. But because my husband and I connected so well, I didn't mind that he had a daughter and wanted to step up to support her in any way I could. When I married into the household, stepdaughter was a tween. Even from the start, no matter how much I tried to appease her or listen to her, she on the contrary got angry or never tried to connect. It's not only with me she frequently faces detention or gets into petty fights at school, which her dad or I need to address. She also often tries to instigate rumors regarding infidelity or me talking bad about my husband to her dad. But luckily, my husband and I have good and open communication, so it doesn't affect or erode our trust. Recently, my husband and I have been talking about having a second child. Unfortunately, this did not sit well with my stepdaughter. Ever since I briefly mentioned the idea to her, she has been doing absurd things around the house. She has not flushing after herself in the bathroom. She has been stealing money from my wallet, and I am not talking about $10 or $20. A whole $100 I left to purchase groceries was stolen. My makeup, some of my bags also turned up missing, but I let it go because she would never own up to it when I confront her. It turns into a full-blown blowout to the point where I suspect she has anger management issues or personality disorders. Last Friday, I bought ovulation kits and folic acid vitamins to manage our plans on getting pregnant. I stored them safely in the bathroom wardrobe, even hidden under some towels. Guess what? On Sunday, when I wanted to test out the kit, it was gone. Completely vanished. $50 worth of folic acid vitamins were also gone. I lost it and told my stepdaughter that she better return it. She cursed me out and said that she didn't want my descendants running around. In that anger, I told my husband that enough was enough, then he needed to get help for our stepdaughter and discipline her, or I was packing my bags and leaving. Instead, my husband lets her off easy. I've told him multiple times to talk some sense into her or get her a therapist, to no avail. He is very lenient because stepdaughter threatens him by saying if he doesn't abide by her, she will leave to stay with her mother. My husband thinks I am an idiot for putting all this pressure on him, and although he understands my frustration, he says I should let it go because that is just who she is. I've had enough. Honestly, if it's already this bad, how can I bring a second child into the environment? Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. There have to be boundaries and limits. She is old enough and still stealing your things and trashing your possessions. If this isn't addressed, you need to get out. That child needs help, professional help in the way of therapy. Your husband is not ready for another child. He refuses to discipline the one he has. Unless you want to raise your child with a sibling that abuses them, I do not have a child with this man. His daughter is being taught she can do whatever she wants and get away with it. She'll be no different as an adult. You and any child you have deserve better than allowing this man and his daughter to rule and ruin your life. Yeah, parenting means setting and enforcing boundaries so the kid grows up into a decent human being. Unfortunately, hubby is refusing to do that. Not sure if the stepdaughter's mother is equally indulgent, but if not, having her move there may be the best thing for her. Also, I hope you realize that hubby will be equally hands-off with your child. Consider whether you're okay with that. My 18-year-old male father, 42, got married to his girlfriend Laura, 36, last year, and now they're trying to have a baby. I'd prefer not to know that, but my father wanted to be sure that I'd be okay with him having another kid. Me being an only child, It's fine by me, whatever. My parents divorced when I was little, but they never hated each other at all, as far as I can remember. They actually always had a very good relationship. My mom also likes Laura and has no problem with her being with my dad. So yesterday, my mom, 41, picked me up at my dad's house, and Laura invited her to have tea. They started talking about Laura trying to get pregnant. I wanted to go home and was disgusted listening to my mother talking about something related to intimacy, but I tolerated it. At first, I was looking at my phone as if I wasn't paying attention, but I couldn't avoid it. I started complaining that I wanted to go home, but my mom told me that she would talk to Laura as long as she wanted, and that if I didn't like it, I could wait in my room or go home on my own. That was the worst because I couldn't go to my room without looking like a little kid doing what she told me to in front of Laura, so I had to stay. My breaking point was when my mom asked Laura how many times she and my dad were doing it, and she said at least once a day. Then my mom asked for even more details. So I got very angry and started yelling. I told my mom that she was too old to talk about stuff like that and that she was disgusting asking those questions. She apologized to Laura on my behalf and left without taking me home. I think it was very rude of her to do that. Today, she has been ignoring me as if she is still angry. I know what I said was perhaps too much, but I felt like that core idea was not wrong. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. You're too old to be behaving this way. You had the option to wait in your room or go home on your own, and you chose to stay and then explode in a disrespectful manner. Your mom didn't force you to listen or participate in the conversation. You could have handled the situation with maturity and expressed your discomfort calmly instead of resorting to yelling and insulting your mom. Apologize to your mom and try to have a mature conversation about boundaries and respect.